Okay, here you can see the first four blocks that are cut into a section are say and think. Now, think and say are virtually alike, like say hello for 2 seconds, it will say it for 2 seconds. But say hello, it will keep saying it unless we click the stop, which will reset our game. Think is the same, but as you can see here, it has a sort of like thinking cloud or like emotion cloud instead of this chat cloud. Okay, now we have switch costumes. Now, if you want to know what are the costumes or how to change it, you see that you have currently chose Toby. So after you click Toby, tap costumes and you can see all of his costumes. And the number in this corner are the costumes number, the name, and how big it is. And as you can see here, if we click big, I can change the color of these to be black, and it will be darker because it's black. Now I will reset it. Okay, now switch we'll switch it to which one we want. Let's say mouth closed, or to be the original, or we want it to be animating like switch. Okay, now let's have switch backdrop, same as switch costume, but if you tap the backdrops, if you want to add sprite, you tap this. If you want to make your custom one, you just tap paint and then you can paint whatever and then give it a name. Okay, let's tap our stage, and here you can see all of the backdrops we want. Let's add another one, maybe baseball and baseball too. Now from Toby, switch backdrop to the original, baseball or baseball 2. Next backdrop, previous or random. So it's truly random. And next backdrop, we'll just make it go to the next, just like next backdrop. And now we will continue with changing the size. Change size by 10, you will see Toby get bigger. Or smaller if we add in a negative number. Now you can see the size over here. We'll set it to the default. And set size, we'll set it to the amount. And change color by, we'll change it by the number. You can know what color is which if you go here. And you can see this is color 50. So if we tap this, and 51 is in the turquoise. So let's set it to 0 by 51 and you will see him turn turquoise. And now we have set color, fish eye, and some others. Fish eye is how like it twirls, and you don't need to tap fish eye and like change it. If you go to looks, you can just tap clear graphic effects and it will remove anything except for the size and the costumes. Okay, we've looked at fish eye. Now what about Wordle? It's same as fish eye, but it whirls around. Pixelate is making it into pixels, so we can make him be pixelated. Or mosaic, which just like doubles them. And we have brightness and ghost. Brightness is how light it is, and ghost is my favorite. It will become more, it's used for fading, and I usually, okay, now let's move to the hide and show. Hide will make a character disappear, and show will make it not disappear. So here you can see the same. Show, hide. Okay, let's go to the last part. Go to front layer. We'll make it go to the front layer so that if we add a sprite, maybe John, and tell him to go to the back layer. Now if we put them together, he will be in the back. But then whenever you drag a character, he becomes to the first layer. Now let's discard him. Now let's move on to go forward one layer. Same as go to one layer, but maybe you want to have multiple. Like maybe an army. You have an army of like little soldiers and you want them to be behind each other for shadow. You can make them go back one layer. Now these little numeric or word we will take stage snapshot later. Costume number or name. Now remember when I told you when you go to costumes you can see these little numbers and the name? Now we want to know this current costume name. It is Toby Jump. Or number 6. If you go down you can see it is number 6. Backdrop number is the same as if the stage had a costume. So name, this is currently baseball 1 or number 2. Size is the size of the current character. Over here if we make it 230, quite big, and if we ask it it will say 230. Okay, now let's move on to the take stage snapshot, which does not really do anything. It is just for taking a snapshot or a picture of your stage. I think they will use it for other like things, like maybe take a picture and use it for proof, but I don't think if they're gonna do that on the next update. So, and I will add to the mix operators or sensing. I thought that we could do sensing because the backdrop is like really appropriate. So let's start. Sensing category is all about the game colors and if what is touching what, did we press this key, and that's mainly the brief, but let's get to it. Touching mouse pointer is Toby touching the mouse pointer? False. Is he touching the edge? False. Let's make him merge his hand into the edge. Touching edge? True. Now let's put him back in the middle. And now let's see touching color and color touching. Now, touching color means if Toby is touching this color. So let's see. Is Toby touching the color I'm trying to get this over here. White. Now, currently he isn't touching it, which is false. If we make him touch anything that is white, it will say true. What about we want same thing like Toby, but only if he changes to this costume. Maybe we want his feet to change a little bit, so we can see if his outlining, if that outline is touching the color white. Now currently it is not, but if it gets in, it will be overlapping. Okay, now let's start with distance. Now, everything in Scratch, distance, size, everything is based on one thing, which is pixels. It's like you did you remember when I was trying to find a color, but I couldn't really reach that that little box is 1 pixel. Or sometimes if using the pixelate, you saw those little boxes. If they get divided into super small sizes, that is a pixel. And that is how also computers work. So, how many pixels to the mouse pointer? 103. We can add like anything, like the treasure, make it quite close. Now, distance to treasure is 81, but they're close, aren't they? Let's go to costume. You see here that if you take them off, this is the center. So let's make it from his hand. So the difference from his hand to the treasure, which is 81, because we reversed it. Okay, now let's reset him back. And now let's continue. Let's discard the treasure and let's continue our sensing. And now we have the ask. Ask is used for questions or quizzes. So ask what is your name? It will ask me what's my name. I will type it down. And now, if you would like to see the answer, tap this and you will get the answer. Now, by original, the answer is empty because in the original we can't have it be anything. Now we have key and mouse down. Mouse down is whenever we click the mouse, it will do a action, but it needs to be in the code if else right here. And here we have if key space pressed. So whenever we click it, it will be false. This could be used for games like moving, and most people use the events tab when key space pressed, but it does not have a built-in if else. It only has an if. So if you want your character to react when if key space pressed, it will react, but that can be used through the events. But if you wanted to do something else while you did not press space, you need to add a events control and sensing or whatever else you need to make your game. So it will be false. But now I am holding down my space key and clicking, it says true. Okay, now we have mouse X and mouse Y. Mouse X is currently 240 and 180. The Y, if you go to backdrops and tap backdrop, let's say the empty. If you zoom out, you can see this darker or ghost version of the backdrop. Now, if I make a empty a black line across this, we may be able to see it because part this part is all there is of the screen. If you want to go out of the screen, this is all the space you can have, and Scratch uses this for if you want enemies to slowly spawn in outside the map and slowly work their way in while adjusting speed and other things that could be required. And now we will go to the last section of the other half section, which is all about the character dragging and some of the date and time. Set drag mode draggable. Now this is, you guys would think that, hey, we can already move this. Why do we need a set drag mode? So now it's, I did not press it yet. If we use the full screen or the or just press green flag to refresh, you cannot move the characters. So if we set drag mode draggable, we can still drag it, and if you go full screen, you can drag it. And by original, it's, so let's set it back to the original. Loudness. Now this matters about the um it is like when loudness equals, but it actually relies on the microphone volume. So let's activate it for now, and it will say it. You can see that it keeps changing according to the mic's received volume. And currently, now I am talking 20 to 50 loudness, and if I be quiet, it will be in the 0 to 10s. Okay, now timer starts from the beginning of the game and is only seconds point millisecond. If you press reset, it will reset to 0. This can be used for levels that are speed runs. If you want this person to have only 20 seconds, you can make if timer, and you use the operator rounding so that the point will become only a whole number 25, and then it will be rounded, and if the timer is, for example, 50, you will lose. Now let's reset it. Backdrop of stage. Now the stage doesn't really have much, it's just used in the looks, but if we have another character like Hazel, now let's type down Hazel, and you can see it says X, Y position, the direction, costume number, costume name, size, and volume. Now, three things the stage did not have: X, Y, and direction. Because the stage is the background, and you can't move the background, only change it. But the characters, they have X and Y. Here you can see the X and the Y, and the direction is this. So currently Hazel is looking 90. If we make it negative 90, that means she's looking the other way. Direction of Hazel, negative 90 point. You can just go over here and round it so you will get the exact direction, negative 90. Because you don't need that like whole point and stuff. Now, This is this the last part is gonna be okay. We have current year or current hour, minute, second, day of week, date, and month. Date is 18th, current year 2023, and we can the current month 7th. It can be used for like if you want the scoreboard to refresh and delete every month. If current month is last month plus one, then uh, delete all of that list. And days since 2000, 800, 800, 8,599. Now, username remains empty because this is used in Scratch and not Pictoblox very often. But this means if you go to the scratch.com and you press explore, most cloud games or multiplayer require a profile, or you need to be a logged in user for at least like 1 month approximately, and then your username will become that display name in your profile. And currently I have mine, just that I am not using I am using the app, so I can use this um, username plus the timer so that we can make a scoreboard. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time and see you next time.